Welcome to our tutorial that shows you how to use PowerPoint to create images for your SETHboard LED sign. When we start up PowerPoint, you get this default screen which allows you to select a template to create your presentation from. We haven't sized one yet for our screen size, our LED billboard size, so I'm going to click on Blank Presentation. I then want to click and drag over that text box title and hit the Delete key on my keyboard so I have a blank page. I then want to click on Design and Slide Size and Custom Slide Size to set the size of my resolution in terms of dimensions. If I had a 3 by 5 foot sign, I would make my height 3 and my width 5 and click on OK and then maximize. Now my presentation is sized to the aspect ratio of my sign. I want to then set the background color of my template. I do that by right clicking over the white page and clicking on Format Background. Solid Fill, and then select the color. I'm going to select Royal Blue. I can close this to maximize my workspace. And I now want to add text to my template. I click on the Home tab and then the text box icon, which is right here. When I click on the page, I start typing. I'm going to have an ad here for pizza and a beer for $10. If I click on the border surrounding this text box, I can then move it, okay, as long as that text is selected. If I want to change the font size, I can click on the Increase Font Size button or Decrease Font Size button until I get it just the right size. I want to make my font Arial because it's nice and readable, and make it bold. You can see my text is not center justified. To do that, I would click on the Center Justify button. This is left, center, and right justify. I can then move it into place. One trick to make your font, your text size even larger is to use the line spacing option here, and then click on Line Spacing Options. You want to click on Line Spacing Multiple, and then make this like 0.8. You can see how it reduced that line spacing, which now allows me to make my font even larger. Okay. We always want to ensure that our contrast between the background and the font is high. So if I have a dark background, I want a light font. If I have a light background, I want a dark font. So I'm going to make this text a little bit lighter. I click and drag over the text, and then I can click on a different color. I can make it white, which would give it a lot of contrast. Now I want to add an image to my template. I do that by going to Google. I'm going to go ahead and search for a pizza image. Click on Images. See all these great pictures. I want to then right click over the image, or left click on the image I like, and then right click over it to copy it as an image. Let me minimize that, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it into my presentation. You can see it was a huge image, so I'm going to zoom out so that I can size it. When you're working with images in PowerPoint, you can size them by clicking on these corner tabs, and it keeps the proportions of the image so that it doesn't stretch it, so it's narrow, for example. Right? See, these actually change the aspect ratio of the image. I'm going to undo by pressing Control-Z twice, and then once again click on the corner so that I get it to the right size. Let me zoom back in so I can see what I'm working on. And now I want to remove that background from our pizza image. I do that, PowerPoint allows you to do that by clicking on the image and then clicking on the Format tab up here and then Remove Background. You then want to resize this box so it's just outside of the object you're trying to keep in your picture, which is our pizza. You see it, PowerPoint does a nice job at removing that. When I click on the background, there's our image. I can rotate that image by clicking up here. I can size it even larger, and then move it by just clicking and dragging. I now have a nice ad template. I'm going to go ahead and save the presentation. So let's go ahead and do File, Save As. I want to browse. to my image folder, and I have one on my desktop called sign folder, and I'm going to call this add template, and it's saving it as a PowerPoint. So now my PowerPoint template is saved. However, I need to save it as a JPEG image in order to actually load it into Bright Author and have it published to the sign. I do that simply by doing File Save As. I'm still going to write it in my sign folder, but this time I'm going to select the format as JPEG file format, and I'm going to call this something that I remember, which is Pizza Ad, and click on Save. I only want to save the image that is currently displaying in the presentation, so you just want to click on just this one. If I had multiple presentation pages inside PowerPoint, it would save all of them, but I only want to work on one at a time, so I say just this one. So let's take a look at our sign folder. And you can see now I have two files in there, the Add Template PowerPoint file and the Pizza Ad JPEG file. Okay, so for the most part, we're all set to be able to load that ad into Bright Author. But I want to show you one more thing. You can actually save these templates so that they show up as a template file in PowerPoint. And the way you do that is go to File, Save As, and I want to click on Browse. If I click on now this menu item, the file format size, you'll see PowerPoint template here. I select that and it automatically puts it into the right folder where PowerPoint keeps all of its templates. And I'm going to call this picture plus text, or picture and text maybe. Okay, save. You can call it whatever you want. I have a picture and some text. Okay, so it saved that as a PowerPoint template. To be able to now load that template from scratch, I'm going to close PowerPoint just to show you. If I restart PowerPoint up here, you'll see now if I click on Personal Templates, there is the one that I just created. I saved this one a little earlier, and there's the one that I just created. So let me go ahead and open that. So now it allows you to easily select templates. So I could have templates that are different background colors, left and right kind of templates, up and down kind of templates. So you can save those as many as you want, which it really allows you to, it speeds up kind of your editing and creation of ads. Now one thing I wanted to show you with PowerPoint, what you need to know, if I move this over the text, you can see here how the text is behind the image. PowerPoint remembers as you're creating elements that are going into the presentation, the ones that are created last are always on top, but you can move them around. If I click on this pizza image and go to this Arrange button, I can send it to the back so that that now is behind my image. Okay. Another trick is, see how the text is a little bit difficult to read when it's over an image? You can change that by clicking on this text box again and going to the format, and you have some other options for your text. So for example, I can click on text outline and make it black, and now that makes it a little bit more readable. If I want to increase how the width of that line around there, I can click on the weight here, click on that one right there, and now you can see it's much more readable. So let me go ahead and save that as a template. I'll actually overwrite my previous one. So by clicking on Template, PowerPoint Template, and I'm going to overwrite that one by clicking and hitting Save. Yes, I do want to overwrite it. So that gives you enough information to be able to use PowerPoint to create your ads by using text and images. Thanks for joining us today.